All right, this time for real.
Cool.
All right. The reason I decided to do a visual album was because, given the size of Alpharad, I knew I had an audience there, but I think promoting music has always been a little difficult because it's audio, and it's like, how do I move that visual audience to a more audio medium? So I thought if I made like a visual album, I don't know, I think the number one reason was marketing. It's easier to get these Alpharad fans who are there for visual content to listen to the new music if it's in form of video, and obviously music videos is the best way to do that, but I thought a little bigger and thought I want to advertise it all and honestly just create a really cool piece of art. And I just like narratives, and I think the whole story can be directed in a certain narrative, because we had a track listing for the album, and then whenever I came up with a narrative, it got all shuffled around because I was like, this is how to tell a story. And mainly I just made a visual album because I wanted to make a cool piece of art. I think the album is a little scattered, so genre-wise, I think there's probably something for everyone, at least one song. And I feel pretty good about a lot of them, but the standout for me is definitely the final track, A Life Frozen in Time, because that feels... the whole narrative of the visual album, of the entire album, can just be summed up in that 3 acts that is A Life Frozen in Time. And I think it's just a really vulnerable and personal experience for me, and just how the song comes together gives me chills, and that final held note in the 3rd act, it's something I'm really proud of, and I just have such a soft spot for a song like that. For the specific visual album, what inspired me the most were artists who have done this before. I mean, obviously, like your Beyonce, your Fall Out Boy, and just how Green Day writes like 21st Century Breakdown and American Idiot. Like, just making music and making it a little unconventional and just a narrative format is just so interesting to me, because like American Idiot got put on Broadway. Like, that's just cool. I don't know. I'm inspired by those artists in terms of visual albums, but when it comes to like the actual music, like it's all over the place. Find Me in Your Dreams is straight up inspired by like 80s J-pop, like city pop. Henri specifically, that song was very inspired by Can't Stop the Loneliness and the entire Timely album. Deep Space was very hide and seek, Imogen Heap, and Lights Off was very Daft Punky, like very like our Random Access Memories album. I don't know, it's really all over the place. Your Name is straight from The Cure. And Waiting for Your Call is just a sad cowboy song. I don't know, I think each song can be traced back to one solid inspiration, and I think that's really cool. It's pretty much I would listen to something and think, I want to make a song that sounds like that, and I just would. And that's pretty much the story of the entire album. Like, I think Life Frozen in Time I don't really have a sound for it. I think it was a little scattered between like an Elton John to like, I don't even know what the other three arcs are. I think it's like, it's Killers, it's, I don't know. That one's all over the place. But what I was most inspired by was like Green Day's Jesus of Suburbia, Bohemian Rhapsody, something like that. And just like, that song alone tells a story. It's multiple acts. And I just think that's cool how it all comes together. Again, my biggest goal is to just create a cool piece of art. So I hope people leave this thinking, what a cool piece of art. But art has meaning. And I think it's, the album's about heartbreak. I mean, it's focuses on life after heartbreak. It's the coping of it. And I think it's a relatable thing. But I'm sure people will be able to hear this and then look back on a time they could relate to it more. Some people will be in a time where they can relate to it and think, obviously, of I'm not alone, but more so of the comfort of it, because this album resolves. Like, Life Frozen in Time is in 3 acts. It's about, the first act is about recognizing the heartbreak. The second act is dealing with the heartbreak, and the third part is the resolve. It's the resolution of it all. And I think that is the most optimistic thing I can put out there, because the album, I'll be honest, pretty fucking sad. But I don't know. I just hope people enjoy it for what it's worth and come to their own interpretations on what it can mean to them. This album was finished in July, which is a while before we started filming the visual album in October, November. I was pretty scared about doing this because I decided I wanted to do this last minute. I was driving to a friend's house in Beverly Hills, and just this idea came to me. I was listening to the album early, and I just hit it on shuffle, and I had Lights Off, Into Deep Space, and To Find Me in Your Dreams. And I just heard that, and I was like, that's a different story. Like, that's a different story than the order. Like, the album was supposed to start with Find Me in Your Dreams, but I was like, that's an argument. That song is a fight, but there's no conflict. You have to build the conflict. So that's why the album got shuffled pretty much. And then I just created an album, or a visual album out of that, the narrative. And the whole visual album process has been smooth. I was pretty hands-off for the creative process outside of the initial inception. So I just kind of got tossed into it, and it was fun. The creative vision I had is still intact, and it's been interpreted in like other ways, which is fun and exciting. And I haven't seen it yet, so at the time of recording this, I hope it turns out well. That'd be cool. And then for the actual album, it was good. It was smooth. The song earliest recorded on it is Your Name, which was recorded in February of 2020, before the entire pandemic, which is crazy. But a majority of the album was everything that wasn't a single. So like Your Name, Silver Lining, Lights Off, like those were all recorded way before, but the rest of the album was recorded in just like a 1 week span in July. And since then, it was smooth. It was fun. It was exciting. I spent like a year and a half writing it, and I'm happy with how it all came together. I think it was hard at times. I vividly remember I did a vocal track for A Life Frozen in Time. All of that 7.5 minute song was one vocal take, and the song is an emotional journey that I dealt with. So I remember vividly, we were in the studio, and I did that 7.5 minute vocal take, and then immediately just walked out of the studio and just like had to like cry and let it out. And it was a cool experience, but it was just a reminder that music is powerful, art is powerful, and it can evoke such intense feelings that you've already experienced, that you might have already like gotten over more or less, but it's just such a visceral journey music is. And it was cool. The rest of the album was very smooth, but just that song is going to be such a special thing to me for so long.
Feel to be done with your first video album?
Yeah.
Yeah. Feel as the D in DMCali to be done with your first.
This is the first visual album. This is very exciting.
Yes. Absolutely right. How do you feel, Queen?
I don't know how to feel, but I'm very happy that I can do this.
How are you feeling, Luis? Good.
Good. I feel we accomplished it. We did it.
We did it.
I literally did not recognize you.
You're not supposed to recognize me.
Thomas got startled.
I got so
Jacob was
freaked
playing
out.
piano downstairs.
Oh, not just piano. I was playing Mad World.
Oh my
And then Thomas is like, who the fuck is this random person playing Mad World on a broken piano?
That's terrifying.
Yeah. I was like, he was like sneaking up, and then I turned around and he goes, holy shit.
Yeah, of course.